What's going on here? That's ridiculous. That's not loose wheel nuts. Oh, let's do a full inspection on this car. There's a story with this one. Unbelievable. Hey everyone, we've got a January 2012 N70 KUN 26R Hilux on the hoist, and there's a reason why it's on the hoist. It's been in for injectors and BFE and all that. It's all done. Went on the road test, and I drove out and I had this ridiculous amount of noise. I've never heard anything like it on any car, especially not a Prado or Hilux. And immediately I thought, you know, those Hiluxes that have got the 33 mud tyres and they're all feathered off their heads. But no, I thought, you know, I was pretty sure in my mind that I saw wild peaks on this, which I think are a reasonably quiet tyre until they start wearing. I have been in the cars. They do make a bit of noise. They're noisier than new KO2s. But obviously after that, it depends how your tyres wear, which one's going to be noisier. But obviously probably a bit lighter and less rolling resistance and better, a little bit better for the road. But look, it certainly wasn't the tyres. So then I thought, what have we done? And I stopped and I went, you know, give the engine a bit of rev. No, that's all cool. Of course not. What am I thinking, you know? And then get going again, and there it is again. So it was at wheel speed. And so just want to give it a check because it could have a few problems. 233,000 kilometers. And this is really good that the front wheel bearings are so flogged at 233, because that puts it in line with what happens with the exact same, almost same size Prado bearings that we see go at about 200,000 Ks as well. And maybe we just haven't seen enough Hiluxes. So certainly I'm recommending, if you've got a Hilux, replacing these front wheel bearings at about 200,000 Ks if you go more than 100 Ks from home, because it could be inconvenient. These ones, as you saw, are really bad. We're going to have a look more closely at them in the other side and the rears and all that. But I thought at 230K, let's have a quick look over this Hilux and see if there's much different to, you know, what's going on here to what goes on with the Prado. So goes off-road a little bit. You can see it doesn't get absolutely hammered by the bash plate. Bit of scraping, probably a few bog holes and that sort of thing. So remember, mud equals money. We haven't done any service. It's just, it's going to be a free inspection. Of course, unless he says, hey man, you know, I appreciate that inspection. I know they're normally 250, 330. Here's, you know, whatever's coming up, but it's all good, mate. Take it or leave it. At the moment, it's a free inspection. I'd say that lower ball joint looks bloody good. So I don't know if the arms have been done. They look pretty original. Yeah, see the Hilux arms, certainly. I don't see the bushes on the Hilux as bad as what I see on the Prados, to be honest. So I think that's less of a problem. Let's just have a quick look first. Someone's been under here lately, or sometime, with their fingerprints lubricating the driveline. That's cool. All right, so we're just having a quick look first in case there's anything obvious, and then we'll have a really close look at these wheel bearings and a bit of a discussion. There's that mud tyre I was expecting to be on the car. From the sound of it, a tyre like that, feathered off, whatever the noise you normally get from that, times it by 3. That's what it just sounded like. It sounded like the bull bar fell off when I was dragging it under the front of the car. It was that bad. So yeah, it didn't take long to go, you know what, I think this is the wheel bearings. Where I was surprised is I texted the client and I said, hey, you know what, how about this noise? And he's like, yeah, don't know, not sure, don't, you know, like, and I'm thinking, what, you haven't noticed this? Like, if I heard this. So it's good that you bring your vehicle in for an inspection every now and then, in case there's something going on that you haven't noticed, you know. If you want to check your brakes, just pop this little bit of rubber here off, right? I'll just do it quickly, right, in the Hilux. And you can have a good look how much meat. See, try and get it to focus. All right, so the piece of metal in the middle of the picture is the brake shoe. And to the left of that, you've got, looks like about, I'm just guessing, I'm looking through the camera, same as you, 6 millimeters of meat. So plenty of meat there. You can leave the caps off if you want, or you can just pop them back on like that. Right, if I can get it back in there, I'm trying to do it, you know, wrong-handed and hold the camera. What am I focused on the camera or getting that in the hole? Anyway, bada bing, there's another one up the top there, whatever. You should pull the wheels off every now and then and check those wheel cylinders. They're probably going to have a slow leak. Check our brakes playlist for more info on brake stuff. But if you don't know what you're doing, don't be doing it yourself. Check these uni joints as well on the Hiluxes. Remember, it's a rear wheel drive, not a front wheel drive. So you've got twice as much load pushing the vehicle off the mark each time. That would say these are going to last half as long also. Not that I've compared, measured or anything. I'm not comparing sizes or anything, but these do look smaller than the Prado ones. So these uni joints, make sure you keep the grease up to them. particularly this one, I think. And but yeah, all three, right? So keep an eye on those. Your front one's not going to be doing as much, so it's probably going to be sweet, but don't forget to lube it. Transmission, 4-speed auto. Look, it's got the iDrive, whatever, the Ultimate 9, and it was on AC, which it's like you're flooring it all the time. The transmission's kicking down gears. It's not the best way to drive it. It's going to cook your transmission oil. Then I went to the U settings. It was on U9, same thing. Just put it on U1 and be happy. This thing actually goes quite well compared to mine. I'd be happy with how it went without any iDrive thing or anything like that. Throttle controller, if you know what I'm talking about. Turbo looks pretty good. So overall, no oil leaks, like a typical 1KD at 12 years old. It's the normal thing, no oil leaks. This one, see, the Hilux hasn't even got the plug there. There you go. The late Prado's copied the Hilux too, by the way. But look, there doesn't appear to be much under here. I'm just having a bit of a look around, you know, to get the suspension. Looks reasonable. It's got the OME, made in South Australia, you know, at Tenneco, Monroe, the old Monroe. So, you know, quality suspension. Generally, it just gives you a bit of a harder ride than some of the other stuff. Looks like it's got aftermarket drive shafts, because that boot just looks, yeah, those boots definitely look different. So it's got drive shafts. Both sides, I'd say drive shafts have been done at some point for whatever reason. The angles on this suspension, not too bad actually. You'd have to measure it up to be exact, but looking at it, as much as it looks bad at full extension, not too bad. Now the gauge is the upper control arm. It's not coming into the spring, you know what I mean? It's outside of it. So it gives you an idea of how much down travel you've got. This one's looking even better. Tyre rod ends have been replaced at some stage. I'm not sure why that's happened. Maybe it's had a steering rack, to be honest. So yeah, because that looks a bit aftermarket as well. So it probably had to slide a sweat on the boot and someone sold him a steering rack, I'm gonna guess. Could be wrong, but that looks nice and shiny. And let's see if we can see the rack anywhere. Does it say Toyota on it, or is it? Oh, it says, yeah, it says JTEC. So it looks original, genuine, or it's a new rack, or yeah, maybe they've just put, like I said, maybe they just put the rack ends in there, or maybe I haven't seen enough Hiluxes lately and it's just tie rod ends. But you see what I mean? That looks clean. So does that. And the boot looks different, but maybe I'm just used to looking at too many Prados. So what would I know? Keep an eye on your upper control arms always. We don't see any issues with bushes, but you can keep an eye on those as well. Make sure the bolts aren't loose if someone has them out or changes them, whatever. All right, let's check out these wheel bearings a bit more closely. All right, we'll get the focus on the diff and have a listen to the rear diff at the moment. I reckon the rear wheel bearings, the axle bearings are all right, because it's not a tradie use. It doesn't get overloaded, so I think the rear axle, so you've got to look at that as well, besides checking for play, listening for noise, then you've got to think about how it's been used. Now, there's quite a bit of noise coming from, I reckon, like the pinion bearing or something like that. Let's just have a listen. Everyone's silence in the studio. Is that normal? Everybody that spins Hiluxes and listens to diffs, I know you want me to stop talking, don't you? Is that normal? I'll spin it again. I'd say that sounds like a pretty normal, noisy bearing to me, right? But then it could be just the way, you know what I mean? I don't really do this a lot, because I suppose when we saw a lot more Hiluxes, they were younger, and it's not something you need to listen to, but as they're getting older. So if I spin that, both the wheels are spinning now, you can't see it, no noise. But when I grab them, because it's an open diff, right? When I spin them together, which makes the tail shaft spin. Anyway, let us know in the comments, what do you think? Is that flogged bearings in the diff, the pinion bearings or something? All right, driver's side front wheel bearing, whatever. Let's have a spin, a listen, check for play. Now, on the front, because you've got other steering components, I want to check for the bearing play, top to bottom. So I'm at the bottom of the tyre, getting a good grip, and it's off its head, look at that. Heaps of play. You got to be careful you don't go side to side, because it's got heaps of play. You might think, oh, it's your rack, your steering components, whatever. So top to bottom for that one. So just think about what you're checking. Take a few different positions. Let's spin it, see if it makes any noise. Because I'll tell you what, when I drove it, one of these was on fire. I reckon actually that wheel even feels hot. So actually I've got to get the gloves off to feel that. That's hectic. Anyway, it could be just the brakes, could be just my driving. All right, give it a spin. That sounds pretty noisy, doesn't it? Sounds like a dry bearing to me. Can everyone hear that? If I shut up, one more spin and we'll go to the other side. If you hear that, these bearings are non-maintainable. They're sealed, so you need to replace them every now and then. You've saved money every 40,000 kilometers because on older four-wheel drives, every 40,000 kilometers, there was a wheel bearing repack, which was labor intensive, plus grease, parts, seals, and sometimes bearings. You've paid nothing for bearing maintenance. So it's going to cost you about $1,000 from me to get those front wheel bearing assemblies if you want to do the maintenance and you don't want to end up dangerous with a wheel coming off. They can go bad really quickly as well. I've said it before. So, all right, passenger side front could be the best of the best, all right? First we'll check for play once again, top to bottom. That is off its head. That thing is just ridiculous. Never seen anything like it. No, I have actually. If you see one of my first videos I put on YouTube, the whole disc rotor is wobbling around, of course, and that's what makes your brake spongy as well. And this is dangerous and get bad really quickly. Obviously, you know, you can drive the car home. You wouldn't be driving it too far till it gets repaired. So it needs to be booked in for repair ASAP. Let's spin it. Oh, mate, that is, you can feel the balls in that one. It won't even spin. Go on, hurry up, make your noise, mate. I'm trying to get everyone to hear you. Come on, come on, zip, zip, zip it. That is rubbish. Let's have a look on the inside. Here we go. On the inside, you can have a good look at the play there, right? It's pretty obvious what's going on, isn't it? Completely off its head. Now, in this workshop, we don't sell you stuff you don't need. We try and tell you to stop wasting your money on things you don't need, because people seem to just like working their lives away to waste their money on things they don't actually need. Just minimize a bit. Minimalist. Check it out. Anyway, you do need to replace your front wheel bearings at about 200,000 Ks. Anyway, there it is. That's your 12 Hilux, 12 years old. Careful who you take your vehicle for maintenance, because by the looks of things, these didn't just get like that overnight. Not the pair of them. They've been like that a while. So whether it's DIY maintenance hasn't ticked the box, or whether it's some workshop like other vehicles we've shown recently, basic service, you know, oil changes and just drive the car, change the brakes, isn't going to work. It's going to become dangerous. So subscribe, turn the bell on. You don't want to miss stuff like this. Catch you on the next video. In case you missed it, yes, we do sell these front wheel bearing assemblies. There's 6 genuine components. I personally press them all together professionally with a little upgrade. They're $11.66 for the pair, delivered to your door, DIY install. Otherwise, it's going to cost you a few $100, probably. Depends where you go, if you want it done right the first time or not, to get those installed on the front there. But limited stock on the shelf, and when everybody sees this video, I'm probably going to sell hundreds. So just be prepared for a wait. Monday morning, text message, 7:30 a.m. And if it's Hilux front wheel bearing, it's going to take some time. Prados, they fly at the door already, but of course we could get a run on those as well, because I'm educating you that this is the maintenance that doesn't get done. It's a sealed unit and it needs to be replaced. Check the playlist, front wheel bearing, front axle, front hub, whatever it's called. You'll work it out in the playlists on our YouTube channel.